Hello and welcome back to the Not the Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks. Back today with a pretty special video ahead of Hearts v Hibs this afternoon in the Scottish Cup semi-final. The two Edinburgh Giants going head-to-head in a massive game at Hampden Park for a place in the Scottish Cup final against either Aberdeen or Celtic, who play on Sunday this weekend. We've enlisted the help of two very famous Hearts and Hibs men of modern times to help us with this preview. First of all, Danny Grainger in the Hearts corner, a 2012 hero when he helped Hearts win the Scottish Cup with a 5-1 victory over Hibs. He knows all about the Edinburgh Derby and what it takes to win on this stage, especially in the Scottish Cup, having a winner's medal in maroon to his name. So his insight's helpful. We also have a Scottish football favourite and a Hibs cult hero, really, from his playing days and his time as a manager, John Yogi Hughes, who's as bright and ever. He's on form in this one, providing his insight on where he thinks Hibs could win this match, why he thinks they'll be the big favourites for this one, despite the fact some bookmakers have Hearts as favourites. But it'll be set to be an interesting watch nonetheless. We thank John and Danny for their contributions to this video. It's the easiest shift I've had in my journalism career so far. I think you hear me speak for about 90 seconds for the rest of this video outside this clip. So we hope you do enjoy their insight. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and until next time, easy. Are you going to get to watch the game on Saturday?
I'm doing a... Is it on the telly, Ben?
It's on BBC and Premier Sports, so I can imagine.
We'll get to see it. We'll get to see it. It's just a shame that the supporters are not there.
Aye. I mean, obviously, you have been in the Scottish Cup semi-final and final arenas without fans there. I know, especially for a game like this, even though Celtic and Rangers aren't involved in it, you'd still have the place 50,000 full for a derby of that magnitude. How big are the fans in that arena?
It's massive. It's absolutely. Somebody once says that. I think it was a great Bill Shankly. Football's nothing without the supporters, and he's correct. I've been lucky enough to get out to a few games, working a wee bit of radio work. So I've been out and about, and it's very, very eerie. It's surreal surroundings, and it's going to be like at Hampden. But you have to adjust. And it's all about winning the game and who can handle it. Will it have an impact on the game? I think it will. I honestly think it will, because if you've got your support there, be it Hibs or Hearts, they're shouting you, they're wanting you to do well, they're right behind you, and they can drive you forward to go and get that victory. So I don't know how it will play out, what team it will suit. I think it might suit Hearts a little bit, because Hibs are flying at the moment in time. And I just feel that with Hibs flying, and if the supporters were there behind Hibs in the mood that they should be in, playing with the confidence that they're playing with, then that'd be a massive advantage for them. With the fans not being there, I think it just might suit Hearts a little bit.
I think as well, like Danny, you've obviously managed games at whatever level without fans. In fact, are fans in at your level in English football?
Yeah, we're quite lucky. We're back in now. I mean, we're allowed up to 400 into our games, but we played in the FA Cup where there's no fans allowed in and things like that. And it's been so strange. Pre-season friendlies, like John says there. I think even at any level, whether it's 50 or 60 fans, you're used to that sound. And I think obviously when you're talking about obviously the Edinburgh Derby, I always said that the atmosphere inside any stadium, whether it was Easter Road or Tiny, Hampden, wherever it was, the atmosphere between the two fans was always, it gave the game that even more of an edge. And I think on Saturday, I think it will be massively missed. I know obviously when I've played in the derbies, I've been involved in them, the fans have played such a big part, and that can work both ways, like John says, regarding Hibs and Hearts. It's the fans can drag you on, they can give you that little bit of extra. If there's 10 minutes to go and the game's really close, they can give you that little bit of extra edge, and they can put the opponents on edge as well. So I think it's come Saturday. I think it's a real shame that they're not in there. I think as John says, I don't know which way around it'll suit, to be honest with you.
I think as well with, I know you said, John, about Hibs being in good form, but Hearts have won literally every single game in their shorter season. so far. So you'd like to think both sets of fans would go in expecting to beat the other, as is with any other derby, whether.
Well, I honestly think in all my time at Hibs, playing for Hibs and managing Hibs, I don't think that we're now going into a derby match, albeit a Scottish Cup semi-final, with Hibs so much on top. I really do. I think they've had their preparation in terms of the games that they've played. I think they've played, 12 SPL games now, something like that. They're on good form. They've got momentum. The players that Jack's brought to the clubs hit the ground running. You know, Nisbet, I think he's got 8-9 goals. It's the same team week in, week out, so he's got continuity, a team selection. So it's all there. I still think I was there at the Hearts Dundee game, first game of the season. Hearts were very, very good. But I have to say, it was made easy for them with the setup that Dundee put out there. You know, with a 5 at the back, it didn't work. And honest that Dundee coming into the game when the manager, James McPake, changed it at half-time and gave his team a little bit of chance. All credit to Hearts, and all the Hearts fans, I know they were all wax lyrical about the performance, and I'm saying, take it easy, calm down. And then they played Arbroath there on Friday night there, and it wasn't the same kind of performance, albeit they got the victory, and it's a tough place to go up at Arbroath. They got the performance, but I just think Hibs are on real good form, and that's my worry. The expectations of the supporters, what I'm talking about, it should be an easy win. It's never like that in a derby, so that's the biggest problem for me, the expectations. If I was a manager at Hibs right now, I would be dampening that right down, and I would be making stuff up or creating a mentality, a siege mentality along the lines of, they all think we're going to fail. We all this, that, we're getting too big for our boots. Let's go and show them. You need that edge. And I'm quite sure Jack will do that. He'll put that edge on them that hopefully, you know, can get them over the line.
Just with Hearts as well, I mean, it is a bit of an odd one, I suppose, because they're in the Championship. Does that come into it? The sort of, I know perhaps might be favourites because just because of that Premiership tag, but if you look at Hearts' squad, it does look top 6 material.
Yeah, I think obviously when you look at that, the squad, the expectation of the fans, the size of the club, and how well they've been doing in the derbies, then, like you say, I think that Hibs will go into it as favourites. They're in a division above Hearts, and I think obviously, it's a different mentality that they're going to have Hearts, and it's this time after to go in there, in my eyes, and go in there and try and, as John sort of says, play Hibs, try and play it down. I think Hearts have got to sometimes maybe play as a bit of an underdog this time, and how they play that is obviously going to be very different, because every game this season, the Championship, they're going to go in there and massive favourites and be a team that should be miles ahead of anybody. And again, a tough place like Arbroath has shown that it's not just going to be a walk in the park for them this year. And I think Saturday's a real game that will test them. And I think, as John alluded to there, I think the games that Hibs have had, the 12 games or so games, and Hearts have only had the 2 league games so far. When it comes to knowing your roles and responsibilities, I know Robbie's obviously will have his ways of doing things, but will every player have the knowledge and the responsibility that they know already? And that's something that Hibs have got, as John says, with the same teams and things like that every week. I think it's going to be a massive game for Robbie to be able to put his stamp onto it. And I think with the players that he's got, let's be honest, they are a Premiership squad, but come 5 o'clock on Saturday, that's going to mean nothing. It's going to be who turns up on the day, and that's all it ever is in a derby. If you turn up on the day, you'll win the derby. That's how it is.
Yeah, and that's what the listeners have to realise. I heard Robbie doing an interview, and he says they're well into double figures in terms of games. That's pre-season games. There's nothing like competitive games. And Danny, you'll know yourself, me, when I played, I need 5 or 6 pre-season games, maybe even more than that, to get up to speed. When I went into the competitive game, that really tested your mettle. And that's what I'm saying. Hibs have had more competitive games than Hearts. Saying that, the 6-2 victory against Dundee, I was very impressed. Very, very impressed. Hearts played with good energy. They had good legs in the team. Boy's centre forward was absolutely different class on the night. He really led the line very, very well. And then as the game was won, it got game time into Haring and Halliday. I see Halliday played 90 minutes there on Friday night against Arbroath. So I still don't know what the Hearts team's going to be. I noticed today that Ganelli, although he come off injured in the first 5 minutes up at Arbroath, he's reckons he's got a chance of making it. But two big players for me is the two guys that were on the bench against Dundee. It's Halliday and Haring. If you can get the two guys in your team and get them match fit, then I think that's the best of Hearts. Saying that, the young boy that played in there from the start, Irvin, I don't know if you've seen him. He's a beautiful footballer, Dan. A great left foot, passes a great ball, right good footballer. So Hearts are in a good shape at the moment in time, but one or two injuries that they've picked up, as I say, with Ganelli and Naismith, no brilliant getting game time at the moment in time. So you don't know what the Hearts team's going to be. And it might come down to, the legs and the fitness levels. Can you keep going and get that winner in the last 5 minutes? So it's all to play for. It's quite intriguing.
Do you think the experience in the squads, when you look at them, John, regarding that, obviously the likes of Hallidays who've played in all the big derbies, obviously Herring's played in the derbies. I think there's a lot more of the Hearts squad that have been into them situations. And I think if it was the other way around, like we was talking about there, the competitive games, I think that would bring it more into the reckoning. If it was the Hibs team that hadn't had as many players playing in the derbies and the big games as what the Hearts team has, I think the competitive games would really take its toll then. But I think obviously when you look at it and think of the likes of Halliday, Ollie Lees, Herrings, Naismith, Boyces, them types of players, Craig Gordon, obviously, Craigie, and they'll be massive in games like this for getting the ones.
I'm also looking at Hampden, the size of the pitch, and who's got the legs. I feel nowadays that's where the game's going. Good legs all over the pitch, the high press, get up and down legs. And one of the players that I was impressed with at Hearts against Dundee was Walker. He played behind Boyce, the striker. He was back in midfield, runs with the ball, lovely. And I just think that big pitch at Hampden will suit him. But it'll also suit Boyle at Hibs. And the left back, Kingsley, he scored against Dundee. He's going to have to do a job on. If Hearts have want any chance to try and win it, he's going to have to do a job on Boyle, because Boyle at this moment in time is Hibs' talisman. And on that big pitch at Hampden, if you don't do a job on him and give him room to run and space to run, then he'll take a full advantage of that. So, that's where the tactics come into, where you're going to show them. You've got to show them down the other side, keep the ball away from Boyle. But once again, I seen Hearts play Hibs last year, and Hibs beat them 2-0 at Tynecastle, and Boyle played through the middle and got to sell a goal going right through the middle. So Jack might have that up his sleeve. You never know.
They've also got the other players in there as well, having the likes of Stevie Mallon and boys like that who can dictate games as well. I'm not sure if like Scotty Allen's fit, but players like that, if you don't get close to them, like you see on Hampden, you can soon find yourself in a lot of trouble with their creativity as well. So I think obviously, as for me, when you look at it on the paper, it looks like a great game because both squads have got a lot of attacking flair, a lot of creativity in the teams, and it's just going to be a case, as I said there, it's who turns up in a derby. And I think the experience I felt whenever we played a derby, the likes of Andy Webster and Rudy Scatchell was so vital for us, because the lads that hadn't been involved in it, the younger lads, myself, Ryan McGowan's, they would talk you through it pre-match.
Yeah.
John, you've been on both.
But that's what I 100% experience will come in for it, and that's why I'm sort of looking at if Ganelli is fit. One thing about the boy Ganelli, he's on loan from Preston. He's got good legs and good pace. And if it's no Lewis Stevenson, it might be the young boy Doig, who's been a sensation for Hibs. And Jack's took him out at the right time. Lewis is playing, but they reckon Lewis is struggling with an ankle. If you go back to Deutsch, Frimpong, when he played Celtic, gave him a torrid time.
Yeah.
So Ganelli's that sort of pacey sort of winger as well. But tactics are certainly going to come into it. If you look at Hibs, everybody sort of second guess what kind of tactics Hibs played. I seen them. I done the game against Hamilton where they won it 3-2, but they should have been out of sight. And he played with the two out and out wingers, Murphy and Boyle. And it was great. Get the ball to the wingers and let them take on the fullbacks, and they were a handful. Murphy's now injured. He's went with Malin and McGuinness playing in that sort of left wing. But what they do is Gogic goes back to get it, and the left winger comes in and plays left midfield. And then the left side for either Lewis Stevenson or Deutsch, Boyle's already out there, and the other three just swivel it. So it looks like a five at the back.
Yeah.
It looks like a five at the back, but the thing about it, you have to go and match it.
Yeah.
So how are you going to match it? And that's what I'm saying with Walker. When I seen Walker playing against Dundee, playing that second striker, he was prepared to come back into midfield. And that's what's going to have to, he's going to have to come back into midfield to pick up, to let one of the midfielders go back and get Hibs number 10, Nisbet. Because if you let him float in between the lines, Nisbet, he'll kill you. Hibs will get the ball to him. So they're going to have to get to him. So I'm intrigued to see it tactically, how they'll work it. Saying that, I think Hearts' best player, if Hibs are not playing with a left winger, Hearts' best player is the boy Smith, the right back.
Yeah,
he'll go all day long, up and do it. And if you've got a full back, it wants to go up and down all day long. You want to put a blocker in on, you know, keep him back there and put a blocker. So once again, it's tactics. I'm intrigued to see how the tactics work and see what Robbie will do and see what Jack will do. And it all, you know, all just leads up to a right good game. A real good game. Really, I'm looking forward to it.
I think it's an exciting game with two young managers because they'll both be obviously wanting to put the stamp on the derby as well. So they'll be looking at it and saying who's going to sort of blink first, won't they? So, like you're saying, the boy Nisbet between the lines.
See plays. On that, Danny, see on that, although it's early on, it's a Scottish Cup semi-final and it's early on in the season, I'm just wanting to take you a Scottish Cup final, obviously. I'm just wondering what the win and the defeat would do for the teams. You know, if it was Hibs and if they got a Scottish Cup final when they beat Hearts, the momentum and the confidence that they've got right now and the players getting called up to the Scotland squad that's in a right good place, I think that would kick them up another level. Yeah. If they lost it, I'm sort of looking at it and saying to myself, could that damage you a little bit? And I don't think it would. I think the Hibs would just have to take that in their stride, you know, because they're trying to get into get as high up that league as they can and get the European spot through the league position. And then I look at it with Hearts, would it damage Hearts? And I'm sort of saying to myself, not, because first thing on your agenda, Robbie, is get promoted and get back into the SPL. You know, so, and then even as a coach and a player, sometimes instead of getting wound up, and sometimes you put a wee something in there just to take that wee bit of anxiety out of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know who it's going to help me, but it's, as I say, it's all to play for. And Edinburgh and Scottish football needs the Edinburgh derby. That's one thing I'll say. And amongst the Hibs supporters and Hearts supporters, and the real, you know, the two teams need each other, and the Scottish football need Hearts back in the top flight, that's for sure. Great place to play. You must have loved playing at Tynecastle.
Yeah, when you speak to most players now, and they always say, where's that one place you enjoy playing the most? It's normally Tynecastle because of the intense and the atmosphere is right on top of you. And to play, I was obviously lucky enough to play there week in, week out with Hearts for 2 years and be part of it. But it's, I mean, even now when you go back and you stand and things like that, John's right. It's the Edinburgh derby should not be being missed for the Scottish game.
No, definitely not. And I don't know, I was all Hibs, born and bred and raised. But I don't know what I've done wrong, Danny, for my sins. You know why? Because my two son-in-laws are Jambos.
They know the right way then. That's all right.
They're hammering me, so the banter's all right, you know.
Oh, that's fine. John kicks about with a half and half Celtic scarf anyway, so it's fine. He's not real. I know you said touched on experience a bit there, whilst you are giving me the easiest shift in my recording history. But when you look at the back line for Hibs can actually line up the same back four they did in the 2016 Cup final. Now, granted, they might not all play, they probably won't all play, but that experience there in this actual climate is going to be probably telling. They've got 4 players there, 4 Hibs legends that have been and done it already.
I think the big thing, much as we're going about the experience of the likes of the derbies and things like that, there's no fans there. Not one of these players are going to be used to playing in a game like this magnitude, with what's on the line, with no one there. Every little bit of noise in the ground is generated from the pitch, from the side of the pitch. The managers will be, they can't be sort of seen to say, oh, well, we can't hear you over that side of the pitch, Gaffer, because there's 50,000 people screaming at us. They'll be able to hear every word. So as much as the experience is going to be important, none of them will have experienced this type of atmosphere in the careers, in the magnitude of the game either.
Danny, it's true what you says earlier on. It'll be on the day. Yeah. It'll be on the day who turns up, who plays the football, who's brave enough to get on the ball, make it happen, who's got in their team that wee bit of magic that can unlock the door, score a goal, and that's what usually happens, unless it's a cricket score, you know, and someone you just go, wow, that was just, and I cannot see that happening. The teams are, you know, the two teams. Robbie's done a wee sort of rebuilding job there and sort of brought it in, and what I've seen against Dundee and even Arbroath, a tough place to go, they've got enough to go and win the first division. And you're looking at it, and this might just be, I'm quite sure Robbie's playing the underdog mentality card, and we've got nothing to lose, we know what we want to do, and it might suit them. All the pressure might be on Hibs. Can they handle it? But it's what happens on the day, and big players on the day, big players make it happen. I'm just hoping that Hibs have got more big players than Hearts.
I think when you look at that as well, John, we talk about who turns up on the day, and we were saying earlier about the pre-season. It's quite easy to go and find pockets in pre-season when you aren't getting pressed at 100 mile an hour. And I think obviously the Hibs have had them 12 games, or the 11 games so far, of finding the pockets in competitive matches against SPL teams. And again, I think with Hearts only having the 2 games in the league, it's easy to go and get the ball in dangerous areas in pre-season. You can give the ball away, the gaffer will tell you that don't worry about that.
Yeah.
It's not the right thing. Whereas you're still going to be brave enough to go and get on it. And I think you bang on exactly what you're saying. The fact that who's going to be the one that turns up, and talk about the likes of Nesbitt, Walker, Boyle, Oasis, all these players. If they turn up, then more than likely their team's going to be the one that comes out on top. But I think obviously it's just going to be. I'm looking forward to it because I've looked at the game, and I think there's 2 teams there that can. It could be a game of who can outscore who, which manager is going to blink first, or it could be literally a game of chess of we're going to wait and see who makes the first mistake. So I'm quite looking forward to it.
Have you got your winners' medal up there, Danny, just behind you?
No, that's on my wall. My winners' medal's on my wall at my mum and dad's. So that's coming back to my house this week because my mum and dad are actually moving house. So that's coming back to my house this week.
I see. Just on sort of obviously the final is the big one, but from managers and players I've spoke to who've been in similar positions, some have said that the semi-final is actually perhaps the one you're more nervous for, the final being the one you're actually excited about. Would you go along with that?
Yeah, just what's at stake, Ben. Simple as that. You know, you win the game, you're into a cup final, and you know, just getting to the cup final. You know, but once again, nobody, no matter if it's semi-final, final. No, everybody forgets about 5 years' time. You'll say, who's the semi-finalist? It's forgotten about. You have to want to go and win it. You have to want to go and win it. But there is plenty going on there in terms of the mental mindset. Who's strong enough? Who's mental? What frame of mind are you going into? Are Hearts going in as the underdog? Is Robbie playing that card? Is Jack going in as, by the way, our feet's firmly on the ground, no matter how well we're doing? We're aware as a siege mentality, what people saying about us, they'll fall off their pedestal. And, you know, I'm quite sure Jack will be doing that and getting into them, so just to keep them grounded. But it's all to play for. And I'll tell you what, I'm just looking at it, I think I'm looking at Hibs. We're talking about the two injuries: Lewis Stevenson's touch and go, and Murphy has been injured. So I'm not too sure if he's going to make it. I like Murphy. I like the two wingers against Hamilton, but I just think Hibs are in a better shape. When you look at Hearts, you're talking about Jordan Roberts missed the game on Friday night. Ganelli come off injured. Walker went off injured the last 10 minutes. Naismith's no got game time. Harring's no got the game time. He's getting there. And I just think Hibs are in a better shape. But saying that, come semi-final day, adrenaline gets you through it. And it'll come down to what we've said, it'll come down to a bit of magic or a mistake. 9 times out of 10 gives you the victory.
Just in closing then, obviously this will probably go out on Saturday morning. Can I push you for how you think the game will go in the end and the result will be come 7 o'clock?
Me, I'll go first. I think Hibs will win it quite convincingly. I think that, and it'll all be done, a lot of it will be done, and what will be done in the second half. I just think that if Hibs can go in at half time leading the match, I can see them scoring a few goals. But saying that, Ben, honestly, that's me again. Expectations, I'm only going on what the forum at Hibs are on. See, right now, I would take 1-0 scrappy game, Hibs in the cup final.
I'm assuming, Danny, you've got a different opinion.
I've got to have a different opinion, haven't I? Can't say anything else. Look, I honestly think if Hearts can play their game, if Hearts can not get dictated to the players, and like you say, if they can get lucky with the likes of Ganelli playing and you get Boyce and Walker linking up, I think Hearts can do well there. I think there's expectation always, especially when it comes to the derbies, and even more so in the competition as well. But I think Hearts will get the result. I do. I'm not going to sit there and say they're going to be dominant and they're going to win it convincingly. I think they'll have to be at the best. But I think obviously with the likes of if they can get the likes of Halliday and Herring, Ollie Lees, people like that involved, then I think Hearts can outwork them, and I'm looking forward to it. And I think Hearts will come out on top 1-0.
See, one thing we've not talked about, Ben, watching them and me being a defender, Danny, and you'll know, we've not talked about probably Hearts' best signing, Craig Gordon. Me being a defender, if I knew Craig Gordon was in the goal behind me, I would be like, it just puts a spring in your step. And I think he's going to have to be a busy goalkeeper, but that's what he gets paid for, and he'll be up to it. And I hope Hibs work him, but you know, you're looking at the Hibs, and we're going on about that they've got a fantastic goalkeeper as well. So it'll be all to play for.
I think it's definitely an exciting game to be looking forward to. I think there's definitely goals in there, and I genuinely hope there is an early goal, because I think sometimes in these types of games, the longer it stays 0-0, the more cagey it gets, the more that no one really wants to step out of the comfort zone and go and try and win it. If there's an early goal, whichever way, does that team then have to put behind the ball or for the killer?
Great shout, Danny. If that is for us, if it's an early goal, then the game gets opened up and the two teams open up and go for it. So great shout. I hope that happens, and I hope it's Hibs.
Well, you might say that one, John, yeah.
A short corner, I've got two Hearts and Hibs men. The Hibs guys said convincing Hibs win, and then the Hearts man said if Hearts win. I could have just recorded this myself and get two puppets there. And been...
There you go. Well, you have got two. You've got one puppet.
I was going to say, you've got two puppets if you're not there.
Brilliant stuff.